All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Sunday watch list. Should be a very interesting week. We have PPI on Tuesday, CPI on Wednesday, huge economic data catalyst to start off the week. Nothing much Monday. And then we do have initial jobless claims on Thursday. And we have, those are going to be the main three ones that I'm going to be looking at. And we have like the 10 a.m. Eastern time, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time ones on Thursday as well. So those are going to be some important ones to look at. And then going straight into the charts, we had a very interesting week last week with we have been getting selling pressure, right? If we go to a higher time frame, let's remove all these drawings here. Let's start off with the S&P SPY. And what do we see here? We see a shift in structure. So if we're looking at this from a structure point of view, notice how this is a high, this is a low, higher low, higher low, and we failed to make a higher low above this one. So we are taking out this higher low here, and we did not make a higher high, and these are lower highs here. So this is a lower high, and this is a lower high here. Let's take a quick look at where we started at the start of the week, right? But first things first. So this is the daily time frame. I just showed you guys the market structure perspective of this, right? How we are starting to shift from an uptrend to potentially a downtrend because we're no longer making higher highs or higher lows. Now, if I look at this on the daily still, and I look at this from a chart patterns perspective, this is a left, this is a head, and this is a right shoulder. Right? This is a head and shoulders, which is a bearish chart pattern. You can literally Google it here. Right? Bearish head shoulders. Right? This is what a head and shoulders looks like. Now, if I look at the weekly chart here for the S&P, this is a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. So a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern also signifies weakness and more potential selling pressure to the downside. So if I were to have a directional bias for the week, it would be bearish, but things can change very quickly with the type of catalyst that we have this week. Because it's not just any type of catalyst, it is big catalysts like PPI and CPI. Those can move the market and things can change very quickly. So, like I said in last week, don't get too married to one side and always be ready to adjust quickly, right? So anything can happen. So that is what I'll be watching, but for the most part, that's what I am seeing. So let's go to a 4 hour time frame and let's break this down. At the start of the week, this is what it looked like, right? It looked like we were pushing higher, but we did not get above this previous high here. We did not get above that. So this is a high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And as long as we stayed below that lower high, we are technically still in a downwards trend. Now we have a low here, and we have to take out these lows in order for us to make a lower low, we have to take out those lows. So let's take a quick look at what happened. We also had a trend line here from here to here, and notice how we tried breaking it, but on the retest, we don't hold. We don't hold above it on the retest. So where does it push us all the way back down to? All the way back down to the most recent low, which is 577.74. Another key level was this 584.5 area. That was another key level that I would watch. Now, I wouldn't really be, I could adjust this trend line now to here. I wouldn't really be bullish to the upside unless we start reclaiming like 585 or, I mean, really the trend line, to be honest. But I mean, above like 590, 591, you could start taking it up to the trend line. A quick reclaim of 584 could also give you a quick scalp to like 590. But I'd be looking more for the break and hold below or a reject of that 584 for 585 again. But the break and retest below like 578. Below 578 could push us down into 575, 574.5. And that's about a $3 move. It's a pretty good move. If we get below that, I don't see anything but room down to 570 and like 568. We have nothing but room down to there. I mean, the head and shoulders here looks beautiful too, right? Since it is a higher time frame, head and shoulders is probably going to take a little bit more time to play out as well. So it's not something you're like head and shoulders, zero DT. Like, no, it's not gonna play out in one day, you know? It's gonna take some time because it's a higher time frame chart pattern. So moving forward, QQ, very similar, right? You guys can see the trend, high, lower high. We failed to get above this high, lower high. And what are we doing? This is a huge demand on the Qs. Look at how aggressively we bounce from here every time. 505, huge bounce. 505, huge bounce. Friday, come into 505, and we do not get the same type of balance that we did the past times, meaning that this level is getting weaker. So if we get below the 505 level, I could definitely see us pushing down to 501, the psychological 500. If we're going to get relief bounce, I'm going to say it's going to be one of these levels, and I want to be careful at 50, 502 or 500, right? 500 just being that psychological level. If we break 500, I think it's a wrap down to like 597. I'm sorry, 497, 495. These levels here, like 494, right? Nothing but below 500. I mean, it could be a quick move down to 496, 494, 496, 494. Yeah, that's probably, yep. So below 500, if it gets below 500, I think 500 could be a nice relief bounce area. But if not, even on the weekly on the QQQ, we have a bearish engulfing. Now, if we start getting below, like I said, if we really do start forming a downtrend, then we can start working level to level on the way down. But for now, let's just keep these most recent levels for now, and then we'll move forward from if we do start pushing towards those levels. But these catalysts here, they're gonna have a huge impact this week. And then we have earnings like towards the end of the month on a lot of the big companies. Sorry, first quarter earnings. So that's gonna be SPY and Qs. Keep it simple. Apple's at a huge area of demand right now, right? If we go to the weekly, Apple is at this 237 level of demand. Well, it was previously supply. You guys can see before it was demand. Notice how we come here. Huge rejection, huge rejection. And then we break and we get a very strong move. And we have not retested that, right? We got the breakout on December 2nd or November 25th. And this was about a 4 week breakout. Apple was just showing an insane amount of strength for 4 weeks, one full month. Now, with the past 3 weeks, it's been weak. This is the retest of that area, right? We did not really hold very well on the retest. Kind of broke below it. But right now, we technically did not close below. So this is going to be a key area to watch right here. What is Apple going to do in this zone? 237. If it stays below it, I see it pushing back down to 233 very easily. Very easily if it stays below the supply. This could be top watch for me. If it stays below 237, down to 233. If it reclaims 237, I think that could be easy push to 240, 242. So this is a great either or setup. Pre-market will give us more clues on where this opens up at and what which direction we could head towards. So that's gonna be Apple moving forward. Amazon is at a huge weekly trend line. So this is a very key level on Amazon as well. This is looking like a bearish engulfing on the weekly as well. But look at this trend line. This is a long-term trend line from August 5th, 2024. Every single time we come here, we hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here is the sixth touch. It is also a previous resistance here, 215.63. You guys can see huge resistance from back here. Now it is holding up as support here. So let's look at this on the daily now. Kind of closing as a hammer here, but this is a good either or setup as well. So it's at a huge level of support, previous resistance, support. This can either hold up and give us a push back up into at least 223. If it gets really strong, 228. Now, if it gets below the trend line, it's going to get really weak down into 212, 209, and then 205. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this trend line, see what happens here on Amazon. I'm gonna narrow it down to what my favorite setups are towards the end. So let's see. This is Microsoft. Not really seeing too much on this. Oh, it looks bearish too, but see, let's go over NVIDIA first. So NVIDIA key level, very simple, is gonna be 132. 132 is a very strong level of support here, here, here. And when we break below it, we push down to 127, see? So if we get below 132, I'm gonna be targeting that 127, see if that plays out. Probably I would need a clean break and retest of that for upside. I would need to see us reclaim like 144 area. Yeah, like this 144 area in order for me to be bullish on NVIDIA again. So just some quick structure, what I would be looking at for NVIDIA. AMD looks pretty weak right now. It is approaching the weekly 200 though. Probably a name that I would start to add around the weekly 200. It just looks weak right now, so it can probably let this fall below the 200 for a bit. Once it starts reclaiming it, then I'm gonna start adding long term to this name. So I think it could fall below the 200. Equity may not be a bad add right now. As far as the lead play, probably give it a little bit more time before getting in. Meta still holding this long term trend line as well. Google weekly bearish pin bar on Google. Uh, Tesla. So this name I did have on the watch list. So Tesla does look good. Tesla does look good. Start on the weekly. On the weekly, we did not take out last week's low, right? Closed a little bit above it. So go to the daily. And daily closed a bullish hammer basically at the same support that last week's low was at. And last week's low gave us a bounce back into 426. So Tesla's in a range right now between two key levels. Let's go to a 4 hour here, break this down. Tesla's in a range between 402. Yeah, you see we reject here and we bounce down here around 370, 374, 375 area. Anywhere in this zone right here, as long as we stay above this low and we get above this trend line, I could be targeting 414 and then back into 426. So if the bullish scenario plays out above 402 up to 414, 426, if we fail to hold 375, it's going to be an easy push to 362. So that's going to be an easy low that I'm watching to get taken out. 375 area, move down to 362. That's going to be my watch on Tesla. So far, SPY, QQ are still my favorite ones. SPY, QQ, Apple, and Tesla. Those may be my top four. I don't want to overfill the watch list. Probably already getting long. But yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions or anything, drop them in the chat. Make sure to like, comment. And I appreciate you guys for coming in for another week. And I hope you guys have a great trading week. Peace.